Hello. In this video, we're going to continue after a bit of actually delay. Continue the Khodam web server in Rust, the implementation. So, I have these two in here. We have a buildable project. Yes. So, where were we? So we added this. We have this API server.start passing a handler would work, but I mean in this time I actually I really thought about it and actually tried a few things, and I actually think that using closures in Rust, since closures are kind of stateful, it's actually a bit hard. So what we are going to do in this video, first we are going to define a trait called handler, and this handler has a handle function, takes in a connection, right? Takes in a connection. Can I do this? Should I do this? Okay. So this takes a connection in. No connection. Reference, a mutable reference to a connection, and returns. You know what? Let's actually make this. Yes. So, yes. So, let's call this request handler. Gets a request, which is request, which we already have. Method URI version query params patterns, and returns a response, right? Or not a response necessarily, a result, which either response or error. Response needs a lifetime for the body. Okay. The lifetime is going to be bound to request. If this is a type, which part? This part? I don't get where are you saying this that has a problem? This part? Request has what? Oh. Oh. Yes. So request. Okay. Okay. Weird syntax problem. Okay. So we have a trait called request handler, and this request handler is this, right? So now, just for the testing, can we do this? Handler is fn of action. Can we do this? Yes. So any struct, any type that that implements this trait, handle, request, a middle reference to a request, and returns a result that has a response and an error, can be a request handler. So now let's refactor our server. So our server is much simpler now. Actually, please wait, because now our handlers are not necessarily async. So what I need is for this to return a future that has this output. Okay. And can I do input? Dynamic. Okay. Maybe I need to do it using generics as well, but I don't know. Let's just make this work. So this command. Okay. So our server has 3 things now. So what are these? So it has pre-request, okay. So pre-request is a vector of request handlers. Yes. Dynamic. Vector of traits. Oh, box. I think it is actually okay because I think the compiler cannot infer the size. So what if I do boxing? It will work. I don't need. Do I need this? So is animal a trait? Yes. So creating a vector of box works. Okay. Trait objects must include the dynamic keyboard. But if I add this, you say that I cannot, the request handler cannot made into an object. Oh my god. So screen components. Screen components. Self.component or the vector of box of dynamic something. I am doing the same thing. Why it's not working? Is a request handler a trait? Consider turning handle into a method by giving. Oh. Yes. Okay, cool. So it wasn't a method. It was something weird that I actually don't know what was that, but it wasn't a method. Now it's working. Okay, I have another one for post request. So we cannot do that functional thing that we wrap each handler with its next handler, and it's really beautiful, but we cannot do this. So I'm gonna do something more, how can I say it, primitive, of having a vector of every handler I want to run before a request and every handler that I want to run after a request. It creates a new server for me, and I also have a internal or handler which is itself a request handler. Can I do this now? No. I should box it, of course. Right. Let me just GC this. So now what I want to do, so I want to first import server. I want to add this lifetime. Okay, so for sure, so our server should be also itself should be a request handler, because I want to at least be able to chain to basically chain my servers together. So a server should be able to at least wrap another server. That's I think that I need that. So let me see. So let's have this public function new, which returns a new server passing the lifetime. Yes. So what does my server wants? Return, no return actually, it's just server. Missing fields handler, post request and pre-request. Okay. So I have pre-request as, can I do iter? Iterator of request handlers, box request handler item. Oh my god. I did that. Or if I want a vector of box of request handler, I want the same, I want handler to be request handler, and I want this to be for post request. It says that I don't know the size of an request handler, which is true. I can do several things. Can I do import? Working? Okay. So pre-request, handler, and post request. Expected a struct called this, found a struct called this. Okay. So I need these, and I need this type parameter. Okay. Okay. Okay, so my server now has a new function, which is cool. Also, what I want is import something for the server. Request handler 4. Cool. So now I need to implement this handler function for me. which is this function. So what I want is I create my connection. Let's just copy everything. So I create a connection. So each handle, okay, my server cannot be a handle because we can't. So okay, so how we should do this to make this composable? I don't like to have everything inside one type. I want to be my types to be able to compose. So a request handler, maybe a request handler should be better, should have a better or maybe I should also have a trait request parser. So the problem is that my server, if it wants to, you know, implement this handle trait, it should already have the request parsed, right? So in which level I'm gonna parse the request? Or I can just, since this server is really low level server, I can make this basically an HTTP handler, right? So handle does get a socket, and this is a TCP stream from Tokyo, right? And returns nothing. Basically returns a future of nothing. Okay, better. So now the server is the same thing, but so now this is a generic type, right? That any server can implement. Now this should be a result. Result of nothing and an error. Okay. So now let's change this to be, so I have this HTTP handler. My server should be itself an HTTP handler, right? So I'm gonna have another trait, which is request handler. Same contract almost. And request handler also has handle request, gets a request, which is reference to a request, and returns a future, and this is a response. Why? Oh, okay. Trait here defined with one generic parameter field. I don't get it. Let me just remove these. Okay, better. So now I have both HTTP handler and the request handler. So now I have this struct server, which has, so it has also, so it has a public function. No, it so it will have a new function, function new, that returns a server. Okay, and this struct server has a HTTP handler which takes a socket and basically turns it into an HTTP request. So this server should implement HTTP handler finally. So implement HTTP handler where the generic parameter for server future I should have the same thing in here as well. It's a future. Okay. Now let's implement this. Okay, so now we got this handle for our server, gets us a TCP socket. Cool. So basically in here I should parse HTTP, create connection object, request, call all internal logic, write response. Okay, so what I want to do is let connection, or let's just copy everything from here because this is the same code. Nice. So now our connection creates from a socket oh, I cannot do async trait. Okay. What is this async trait? It's saying to use async trait. Zig was really easier programming language. Easier to use, easier to write. I mean, I understand that Rust gave us so much async trait, and I can do this. So let's install this crate and hope that this works for us. Okay, so if we do cargo download, cargo build, I'm gonna pause until it's fetching it all these indexes and stuff. So it's done. You have some errors, but we have downloaded this async trait thing. So let's try this. Back into our server. In here, which I want to have async. Yes, async trait in here. So I'm gonna say async trait like this. Can I do this? So now this will become async trait. Okay. So if I go in here, check it again, add the use. Okay, better. So now I have the error fixed. Return type inferred to be viewed here. Okay, I don't have field request on type. Oh, this is a result, right? So this connection new returns a result of something. It shouldn't be viewed. It should be a result of either something or error. Oh, really? Something or error. Right? And this should be like this. It says lifetime parameter bound man handle do not match the trait declaration. Do I need any lifetime? Why I need any lifetime? So I have my socket and I close this in here, socket.close. Do I have any kind of flush or something? And lifetime parameters or bounds on method handle does not match the trait declaration. So I don't have any kind of trait in here. I don't know what's the problem because I don't have any lifetime in here. Let's do cargo build. So it says that lifetime do not match method in trait. Okay, because my trait, which is HTTP handler, has a lifetime in here. I don't know why. Lifetimes in impl do not match this method in trait. Okay, the problem is that I don't have any lifetime in here. So there is no lifetime in here. Okay, this is okay because we don't have this, but lifetimes do not match method in trait. I don't have any lifetime in here. I don't get it why. I just don't get it. This is async. This is async. Oh, or bounds. Maybe this is the problem. So you see, I'm returning a result. So let me take a look at this. So my trait is to do something. Can I do how can I do so the return value, should it be a future or just a result? Do I need this? If I remove these and also these. Okay, I don't get it anymore. This thing does not have any kind of bound or something. Async run. I've already done this once, but let's just do it cheating again. Rust is really a hard language, especially if you want to, write a library. So hyper core HTTP source back lib source failings. I remember that from last time. So I have this. This is just document. Okay, there's this trait. Failing has this, and each one. Okay, it's not wrapping anything inside a thing, which is good, which is really good. So I don't need to. So this is actually a good one. This is a good one. So why did you do this? So what are you? Why are you? So what is the result? Okay. So why you are doing send sync any? What is any? Okay, so should this send sync any and static? Okay, we don't have any. Okay, really don't get it. I mean, send and sync are, yeah, I know. Static also okay. So send means it can be, this value can be sent through threads. So if a feature is moved from one thread to another, it's okay. Sync means to share reference between threads, and static means it's basically a constant which is available through complete lifetime of the program. I don't get what this error is. I just don't get it. And no, I need this. Lifetimes in impl does not match this. Let's run this again. Lifetimes do not match method in trait. Function or associated item not found in the server. Okay, that's okay. Should I do... oh. I should do this. And also, under both. Okay, I get what's wrong. Yes. Async trait. And now this should become an async. Nice. So finally, my HTTP handler is an async thing, async function that takes a socket, returns result, which is async, which is nice and cool. Okay, so let's just bring back everything we had from before with this new structure. So if I want to have my server, now my server is async function start takes in self does not need actually self. It just needs, let's take a look at there and do some cheating. So you need an address, which is stir, and also a h, which is handler, which is h, where h is HTTP handler, right? Right. Required by bound. So this trait is not in, oh, okay. So this is the problem with our code in main. So HTTP handler should be here. Okay. So in our main file, what I should do is to have my struct, which is custom handler, implement HTTP. So use, yes, I have this. Implement HTTP handler for custom handler. And cannot find trait in this scope. So in the server, oh, this is a public one. Okay. It should be probably public as well. And in the main, now I should do is this implementation. Okay. Why this is so hard? No. Just do this myself. Public async, or this async function handle. So what's the signature? Async function handle takes a self, takes a socket, which is TCP stream, and returns a result of something and an error. Okay, so this is a custom, it is not actually HTTP handler, so we are wrong, actually. This is not what I want. So I want my user to just take a HTTP thing, not just bare sockets, right? So I am doing this for my server. So in the start, what I want to do, so my handler shouldn't be HTTP handler, it should be a request handler or connection handler. Connection is just simpler. A connection handler. So what is a connection handler? A connection handler is also an async trait. Don't need any of these. Makes everything so simple, this crate, actually. This is also async. Handle connection takes in a connection. Returns a result of nothing or error. So now I need to pass in a connection handler. So if I go into main, I should implement connection handler for my custom handler. just put this in here. Custom handler, connection handler. Needs a handle connection method. Self and handle connection. And just takes a, this just should be mute. Okay, main. I need a connection that is a reference to mutable connection reference. Okay. And this returns a result of nothing or error. Right? So this respond returns this. I do just await and this. Like this. Okay, so I have async function something. Let's have this again. Let's go into server. So in here, remove this, remove this, remove this. I need this, remove this. Okay. So handle connection. It is an async function. Gets a self, gets a connection, which is a mute connection, returns a result. Oh, this is also an async trait. Use async trait. Now everything works. Cool. So now I can just pass in my custom handler, and this should work. So now let's go into my server, bring in the, let me just check something. So I'm back. So let's continue. So my problem, so there is one problem in here because my socket in here, the connection owns the socket. Why? I need this to be a mutable reference. Okay, so it basically moves it into the connection. Okay, so I get it now. And this is mutable. So back into server. In here I don't have access to the socket anymore. I need to do connection.socket.flush. Basically. I don't know if I need this line already. So for now, let's just ignore this. So my start is, so I have this, just remove this. So let me just bring in this, and H is a connection handler. What is a connection handler? Connection handler takes in a connection, returns a result. So let's just do what I have in here. And I really hope this works because, you know, structs are, so, you know, closures are hard. I get that. Especially for a language that wants to be as static and as it can. So it can return a result again of nothing or error. Mismatch I selected this, found this. So server.handle. Implementation of my HTTP handler. This is wrong for sure. Delete these. So I have my handler passed in, right? So for each socket, I'm gonna do server.handle, pass in just the socket. Okay. start creates the server and just do server dot handle. Okay, so now this handle takes in a socket and returns a weird thing. So it does not return anything. So handle should basically handle should, or let's just call this so maybe I need the connection handlers here as well. So I have this connection handler where ch is a connection handler. So right, I need this ch, which is connection handler, ch, and in here I need ch and associated function defined here. Implementation has a stricter requirements than trait implement. So I need to have the same in here where ch is connection handler plus set. Okay. And now socket and also handler. This should be also send. Okay, each time I'm passing in. So I need this to be just a reference. And I need this to be a reference. And I need this to be also be a reference. So you see how these are needed. So send means I can send the value between threads, what I was doing before. Now I need to pass the reference, so I need the sync. And also I need to define this in here. H cannot be shared between threads safely because I don't have sync in here. Whew, finally, so we got this working again. So my server calls this, pass in the handler. Now in here I have the connection handler, so I can say ch dot handle connection, pass in connection, mutable. Now everything is working again. Cool. I don't need this one. I have almost everything. So handle is doing a wait. Okay, so let's see if this works. Yes, cargo run. It's running. So let's do, no, sorry. Let's do this. Do curl, this. Yes, and we get the same things we were getting before. Okay, cool. So now we have this, we have basically the same we have basically the same thing as before, but now we can actually improve on it, because now with this async trait and making everything traits, not function traits, and basically closures were hard to work with, now I can implement middlewares probably. And how we are going to do this? So now I have these traits and stuff. So for example, a middleware, a logger. Let's just implement a logger. A logger is just yes. So for example, let's just implement this in here. So let's say I want to have a log middleware. Now I have implementation of connection handler for log middleware of ch. Now let's do telescope LSP crowd actions. Implement this. So the most weird implementation of all time. Let's just copy this from here. I did have that somewhere. Oh, I have it in main. Okay. Mismatch type. Okay, cool. So I got the connection in here, right? What I do, since it's a logger now, what I want to do is actually do this in this here. So I have this, a print line, this is self dot, so this is connection. Let's just do this. Okay, this is connection. And after printing everything, what I want to do is do self wrapped dot handle connection and pass in my connection. Okay. Async trait. Capture the value, some because. So what should I do? Continue moving this into left to create a shorter late borrow. Sync and sync. Cool. Cool. So I think this will work. If this works, we can check out middlewares finally. Let's run this again. Oof. It didn't work because we didn't use it. Okay. So but it compiled. This is cool. This is cool because it compiled. At least we have something. So how we should do this? So let's go into main. And in here, instead of passing the custom handler, what I'm going to pass is middleware, log middleware. Was this available? In here, so this should be a pop. Log middleware. Let's just make this public. I just want to feel it right now. Custom handler. Right. Run. And no. I wanted to, you know, shout and everything, but it didn't work. Why? Because I came into log handler. I do this. And I do this. So, didn't I come here? Cargo build, cargo run this again. Do we have any kind of problem somewhere? So you unused. Oh, because of this? Didn't I do await in here? And voila. Yes, yes, yes. I'm so happy. Ah, I was stuck with this problem and now it's working. I'm really happy. So let's go into our main and check this off. Finally, finally, we got the middlewares working and the API is cool. This is actually beautiful. I like this. I like this. I will just postpone anything else until the next video. I just want to commit this. Just want to commit this. So, middlewares. Yay! Git push. I did some things before. No master, no master, no master. Add middleware. I just want to merge this now. And also git checkout master, git merge add middlewares, push. Cool. Delete the branch. Nice, nice. I'm so happy with this. Now we got the log middleware. So basically our middlewares, so what we did for the implementation is our middlewares are just connection handlers. That's it. And also users can provide their own HTTP handler, hopefully someday in future. Yes, yes. So they can provide their own HTTP handler, but they can use anything else, any other connection handler from our ecosystem. We are not going to have any, but I mean, I think it's a good design, to be fair. I'm gonna move this to another file, and maybe write some other, but you know, the idea is working. The idea of middleware, the best implementation of middleware is just this, that you should be able to wrap everything, wrap each handler inside a bigger one. And this is working and I'm really happy. So if you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, and you can contact me on Twitter, GitHub, email. Until the next video, goodbye, and that's it. Goodbye.